Hi, Merry Meet. Welcome to When the Fika Pisses Off the New Agers. Not really, not trying to piss off anyone, but I am going to be discussing a topic that quite a few New Agers disagree on me on. And the topic of today's discussion is ego. And yes, there's a common idea among many New Agers that the ego is bad and wrong and you should work to get rid of it. And I don't agree. Now, the ego is basically your sense of self as a separate entity. And it's true, the ego is the cause of things like jealousy, possessiveness, and so on and so forth, because it gives your sense of self, and as such, um, makes you want to um, preserve better and so on yourself as an individual. However, I think that the ego is an integral part of who we are, and getting rid of it is an idea that it's wrong. Now, of course, people might do whatever they want, and what's wrong for me isn't necessarily wrong for them. And I'm not saying that everybody has to think like me. However, I do get a bit sick and tired of this idea that no, the ego is wrong. The goal of spiritual development is to get rid of the ego. As long as we have ego, we can never reach our full spiritual potential. Yeah. The problem here is it's this idea that, first of all, spirit is more important than flesh, more important than mind, more important than everything else, and that we being part of a greater whole is more important than being individual. I say there has to be balance. That yes, we are spirits, we are also human beings. And if only spirit matters, why the hell were we born as human beings? There's a reason why we're human beings. And I think that we should celebrate being spirit and being human beings as much, including things that like individual identity. And also, yes, I do believe that we are part of a great whole. For example, the Akashic Records is a sort of joined mind, and I do believe we have a collective subconsciousness. And I also believe that there is a spirit world where we all connect in some way. And it's important to develop this. And developing it can help us to become more compassionate, have a greater understanding for those that are different than us. Because even if we are different, even if they have widely different opinions, different appearance, and so on and so forth, even so we are the same. I also think it's important to develop our individuality, because we are not just a hive mind, one single entity. We are also individuals, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there's a lot of good things that comes from the ego. For example, the ego is what drives us to develop ourselves, to be better. So, yes, with everything there's positives and negatives. A too much focus on the physical can make us vain, shallow. It can make us miss the greater picture. But too great of a focus on the spiritual can make us lose focus on those that needs us in the physical world. It can make us miss the lessons we have incarnated in physical bodies to learn. There has to be a balance in things. So, yes, if you are extremely materialistic, I'm pretty materialistic. If you are extremely selfish and so on and so forth, perhaps working more on your spiritual side and more on your sense of oneness with the world and with everybody else is a good idea. But if all you do is sit there and feel on the aloneness, perhaps you should work more on developing your ego, because it's part of you. Like saying that we should get rid of our ego, that's like saying, left legs, we need to get rid of left legs. I mean, seriously, they can make you limp. Cut them off immediately. Basically, I am a spiritual entity. We all are. I am a part of a greater spiritual whole. We all are. But I'm also Anya, an individual, a human being. And I think we should celebrate both. I believe that those that focus just on the physical, just on basically miss a lot. I'm not saying that they're wrong because I don't think this is a moral question. I'm saying that they're wrong, but I do think they miss a lot. But I also think that those that try to get rid of their ego and be only focused on their oneness with everybody else and on spirit is missing a lot. Also, I think that spirit, we both have an ego side to spirit and a oneness side to spirit. Because there's a part of my soul that are my soul. It's mine, it's part of my body. Me, part of my body, my soul, my mind, it's part of my being. And me as a separate entity. But it's also a part of my soul. What I believe, that a part of a greater whole, where souls meet into a greater part. And I believe that if we are only going to be part of a greater thing, we might as well be clogs in a machine. And no, absolutely not. That's we are meant to something greater than just to be cogs in a machine. To be a mindless hive. That is not the path to great learning. I think we have to have both. And the same with material things. Fine, I can respect those, as I know I want to focus just on the spiritual. I won't have any sessions, I'll go and meditate in a temple all my life, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, I think that I will have a less effective way to enlightenment than those that embraces the physical. Because think about it. Why would our spirits, that we assume are more smart than we are, they might not be, but we assume so, why would we incarnate into these physical bodies, these bodies of flesh, if there wasn't something for us to learn from that? And to say, no, no, I will only think of spirit, that sort of, that's sort of like ditching class, no, isn't it? I believe we need our ego, just as we need the part of us that are one with everybody else. We need our physical selves. We need our mental selves. We need our spirit. We need all of these things that makes us complete spiritual, magical beings. And that ignoring any of these parts leads nothing good with it. Also, when it comes to but the ego brings with it negative emotions. Yes, but I think that we can learn a lot from these negative emotions. It's natural to feel jealousy. It doesn't mean you have to act on those feelings. Just as it's natural to feel anger. Sometimes you just want to scream. There's nothing wrong with that. What it's wrong with is if you use violence when you don't have to. If, for example, your spouse uh, angers you beyond belief, it's right and natural and healthy to be spitting mad. But that doesn't mean you have to act on it and hit him or her. The same with grief. Grief's natural. Upset, all of these emotions. Greed, all of these emotions are natural to feel. And if we say, no, no, they are bad, never want to feel them, bad, 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 that isn't learning anything from these emotions. Embracing them, however, accepting them as part of being human, that helps us learn. It helps us accept these, you can say faults, I say natural parts of our humanity. And that makes us grow spiritually, in my mind. We were not incarnated as human beings to sit there all holy and spiritual and never feel anger, never feel lust, never feel greed. We were born into this frail, flawed human body to learn from that, grow from that. And if we dismiss them and try our best to get rid of this, get rid of the ego, get rid of every part of us that are naturally human, we don't learn. That's my mind. Basically, I am selfish. Yeah, I am. I'm also kind and want to take care of others. I'm greedy. I'm also giving. I can be jealous at times, but I try to be it in a way that where I don't want to hurt others over it. And accept these parts of myself. I have a temper. I can be angry, and I can also be soft and delicate. We are human animals, and to just forget that weakens us. I believe that my ego and my feelings and my sense of self is part of my spirit now. I believe that this combination of mind, body, and soul in itself is holy. Everybody's combination of mind, body, and soul is holy. And for some it might be fleeting, for some it won't. But right here and right now, I am this being of flesh and spirit. And I will deny no part of them, spiritual or physical. And I will not deny that I am a separate entity. I have a sense of self. There's nothing wrong with that. I have my own desires. I do not become less spiritual or develop any slower by having my own desires as a spiritual being. I'm also part of a whole. I am both. And I think that's a very important thing to remember. So yeah, I am very much against the idea that we should get rid of the ego. And I also think that's very much different between the ego and the id, the darker side of our beings. But even with the id, I think we need it. We are also darker beings. And to disregard and feel and view it as undesirable, the darker parts of us, not just push it under the rug, but openly embracing these things. We learn to be a part of it, we learn to control it, and we develop. Because all of these things are part of us, just like our arms and legs are. And we should love every part of ourselves, in my opinion. Our bodies, our minds, our souls, our ids, our spirits, our egos, every part of the fantastical, emotional, physical, spiritual, magical being that being a living human being is. You should love all of it. That, I believe, is the road to enlightenment. Though you might not agree with me, I'm not saying that my way is the only way. I mean, I'm a chaot. My reality only stretches as far as myself. But currently, that's my opinion on it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and blessed be.